friends, it is that time of year again where we are setting up our planners for the upcoming year. Hey, it's Kim. Thanks for checking out today's video where I'm going to be going through my planner for next year. I'm going to be setting it up for next year. So if you are new to my channel, I do use a cut down Hobonichi Cousin. So I take the whole entire Hobonichi Cousin, I know, blasphemy, sacrilege, and I chop it down to standard traveler's notebook size. Let me fix the lighting. So I chop it down to standard traveler's notebook size. It is the size I love. It is the size I enjoy. It is the size in which I actually have been able to finish an entire Hobonichi Cousin. I've purchased these year after year after year, and each and every time I do not get through the entire book because I find it to be a little bit too large, a little bit too overwhelming. I don't use all of the daily pages or yada yada yada, some other thing or some other reason or excuse. So last year I started using, it was in January of 2022, I started using an older Hobonichi Cousin in a standard size that I had cut down by myself. Really jagged, really messy. I do have a video all about kind of how I got to this place. So if you want to check that out, I will have it linked down in the description and up in the cards above. But here is where we are. We are setting up for 2023 and I'm very excited. So this video will be filmed in pieces and portions. Because as with any good planner setup, it doesn't all happen in one day. You know, we got to do some planning. We got to kind of think through all the things that we're going to be doing and where we want what and how everything is going to be laid out. So that's what I'm going to do today. So today's portion, I'm going to kind of plot out what I want to do with all the pages in here. So since it's cut down and the monthlies look a little bit different, there are also other areas in the book, say for instance this calendar page, that are not useful because I have these months over on this side cut off, these months on this side cut off, so I can't use them the way they were intended. Same for the tracker and all of that. So what I did in last year's book, I still use those pages, so to speak, but I kind of tipped in and glued in my own personal items. So I did year on 2 pages for this one, and I just printed it onto Moe River paper and glued it right in. And then on this one was supposed to be for my future log. So these are the dates for 2023 if I had any future planning to do. Clearly, I did not use this as intended. I circled one day. That's all I did. So I didn't use a future planner in here, or future log in here. So I'm thinking I won't include one in there. And then I have my, like a spread for my vision board for the year. That's there. And then this was supposed to be something else. I think I was doing maybe a cleaning schedule here. And then I have an ideal daily schedule over here. I didn't even glue it in or anything. I just have it taped in here with a little post-it tape thingy. And then we get right into the monthlies. So those are the areas that I need to plan out what's going where. The same for when you go from the weeklies into the dailies. There's this page here. That's just the grid spread. I need to determine what I'm doing with it. Will I do an index? Probably. So there's that. And then I do have pages in the back that I kind of just started using for swatches. So I swatched out some of my stamping ink, some Tombow markers, and then this is where I just scribble if my fountain pen isn't working. And then here is where I have written down a few fountain pen colors that I had used over time. So I do kind of want to think through what I'm using these back pages for as well, because I could make them a little more functional, you know, and just have spaces or places for which I can tip in information that I'll find helpful and useful for the entire year. So as you can see, this is the Japanese version here. I actually have the English version for this year, but like I said, it's not like I can use a lot of these pages because I chopped off the end. So if I wanted to use these 365 days, check off. I chopped off all of this, so I couldn't use it even if I wanted to. That is a trade-off that I am absolutely perfectly okay with. I recognize this is not everyone's cup of tea, but you know, you may find it wasteful or anything of the sort. However, I do feel like when I would buy Hobonichi Cousins in the past and abandon them around like April because I felt like it was too big and, you know, took up too much space, that was a waste, as opposed to me actually using one for the entire year. The trade-off for me is absolutely worth it. Now, will I abandon this if someone does come out with a standard size planner in the format that I want it to be, all in one book? Yes, I will quickly abandon this. I won't continue to do this. I won't continue to cut down a A5 Hobonichi Cousin. But until that day comes, here is where we are. This is what we're doing. But I will say, a lot of companies, stationery companies, have come out with amazing planners in different sizes. Sterling Ink did the B6 Common Planner. Estelle has an amazing B6 planner. She came out, or they came out with a week size planner. There's Sweet Freckle Designs, I believe that's what it's called, who has the Weeks dupe. That's also available. So many people are coming out with planners in different sizes in a bound book. So I am hoping, I am praying, wishing that the heavens will open up and someone will rain down the possibility of a standard size planner all in one book on Tomoe River paper. But until that day comes, this is what we're doing. So let's get started. And I'm going to use this one here just to kind of give me a roadmap of where I'm going and what's going where. So of course this is going to be decorated similar to the inside of here. Not sure exactly what's going there just yet. But I am definitely going to use, and I think in this one, so I don't know if you can tell, but this like a cardstock type piece of paper is glued to the first sheet here. So it makes it a little weird to separate them in the middle. They don't really separate evenly. So I'll likely glue this first page to this cardstock. Or I think in this case, all I did was like clipped it with paper clips, and that's how it just stays together. Since when you pull this cardstock, it does flip this next sheet anyway. So I will be doing a year on 2 pages here. And I recently had the idea to maybe print out my kids' school schedule and put it somewhere in here as well. I guess I could put it on this next sheet, especially if I don't use this as a future planner, which is an idea, because even though I didn't use this future planner this year, I think there's still room in my system for something like this. I just don't think this format was the one for me. So I would like to put it somewhere. So I think I'll just make a note on here that I'm going to add a school calendar, and I'll do it as a tip-in because it's not going to be permanent. I mean, we're in school, what, 10 months out of 12, but still, I don't know that I want it fully glued in. We'll see. So if I do decide to fully glue it in, I would do that on this spread. And then we have what I believe this to be December. Let me just check my calendar, because that's normally where the Hobonichi Cousin starts. It gives you the full monthly for December. Yeah, so this is December 2022. So I'm not going to use this at all. I'm going to go all the way through to December in my planner for this year. So I can do something on this page. And I think what I want to do is kind of make these stick out the side just a little bit so that when I'm coming back to it, I'll know exactly where to go. So last year I did the whole vision board thing, and will I do it again? I might do it again. I might do it again. It's not typically my thing, and I'm thinking maybe I just need to do it in a different format or a different way. I'm not sure. So I do, though, want to have something that inspires me for the future. Something that I like to look at that's pretty, that's gonna stand out, you know. So that's that. And then we get right into January. That's where January starts. So in terms of other things I might want in the beginning of my planner. Oh, also, you know what I do want? I do want, wait, is this the, what was this? The year on 2 pages is supposed to be here. Okay. So we'll put the year on 2 page here. And something I do want is a list of holidays. That's definitely what I want to have in here. So we'll put a list of holidays or important dates right there. So yes, I'm liking that. So that is something I would need to have in the front of my planner for it to be the most functional for me. I'll bring it in just a little bit closer. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna put here or somewhere. And then I'm just also trying to think what else I like to have in the beginning of my planner. I don't need the index to be up here, though it could. But no, I don't need the index to be up here. I would prefer the index to be closer to the notes pages because that's where the information will be that I'm going to index anyway. So I have this spread that's open. Excuse me. So this first one's going to be a year on 2 page, and somehow I'm going to incorporate the school calendar. The second one is going to be a holiday list. I imagine it'll be on one side, maybe something else on a different side. This could be something else. And then this could be my vision board, and then we get right into the year with the January calendar. I'm liking the way that sounds. So then right after the months, I will say that this is also an opportunity to put something else in here because I believe this should be, is this December 2024 or is that January? Nope. Wait. Oh no, so this is December 2023. And then it goes right into the weeklies. Okay, so then this first weekly, and I probably should have marked all of this off before I cut off all the labels, but here's where we are. This we're just going to start from where we are. So this week, Monday is the 26th. Okay, so this is the last week of December 2022, and the 1st of January is over here on a Sunday. So I likely won't even use this entire spread. So I think what I'll do is I guess make myself a note that this is 12/26 through 1/1. And I may not use this weekly. Okay? So I'll just make myself a note that I have an additional spread here to do something if I want to after the monthlies, but before getting into the weeklies. And then this is the first week. And then as I said, when you go from the weeklies into the notes pages, there is, well, I actually don't know if I said it, but there is a spread here, just a grid sheet. And I'm just looking. So yeah, this is the last full week in 2023. And this Sunday here would be the 31st. So that's the last day. So that's great. And I'm pointing here because if you haven't watched the previous video, I do take this last column and split it in half. And I'll have my Saturday, the 30th on this side, Sunday, the 31st on this side. It's been working for me for the year and I haven't felt like it wasn't enough space. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. So the year ends December 31st here. And then we go right into this 2-page grid spread. And this is like the Hobonichi way to welcome a new year. So that's what this is for. And this is likely where my index is going to go. So I'll write that there. And then we just get into all of the dailies. So yeah. Okay, and as you can see in this year, well, I'll show you and then you'll be able to see. So this year my index is only 1 page, and that's pretty much what it's going to be. Even if I do fill in other notes that I want to refer to over the next month or two that we have left in 2022, it's still likely not going to go over to this 2nd page. So I may still allow 2 pages for the index for this year. But even if I didn't, I can't think of anything else I would want to add to this spread. The only thing I might do is just to add a bit more deco. So here I just had something in the left corner and then the bottom right corner. So I mean, I could add in some more borders, some more washi, some more something to just take up more space on the whole 2-page spread. So that's there, and then we'll get into our notes, which is self-explanatory. These are going to be all of my notes pages, and I do not use the dated pages, or I don't use them the way they are dated. So I'm not going to wait until September 20th to actually use this page. I'm hoping you can see. Yeah. So I'm going to just use this however I want to. A lot of times I will cover up the dates, however, and just use these like they are blank notes pages. And if you were wondering about my index, I index it based on the date around which I use it. So, for example, if I have here like my 2-cell list, and then the date I have associated with that is February 7th. So that means in my notes pages where I have manually dated February 7th, that's where, this is February, and I have my little tabs up at the top telling me what month is where. So around about the 7th is where I would have this, what even is, oh, the 2-cell list. So it's this that I haven't even filled in. So the 7th is right here, and then my list that I'm referencing in the index is right here along that date. So that's how I'm indexing, since I don't use the actual dates in the book. And even if this did have page numbers, I wouldn't be able to see them because I've already cut them off. So moving on, then we'll go into the back of the book, and like I said, I do need swatch pages. So I'll use these for like pen tests or swatches, and I think I'm gonna go from the back to the front because all of these are unusable. So I'll just tip in and paste in other things. So what I'm gonna do is use one of these, and I'll write down swatch pages, but I'm leaving some space on this little flag because I feel like there's going to be even more stuff that I will think of to add back here, things that I would like to reference over the course of the year, that I'm going to want to put back here. There's maybe, I don't know, like a good 10 pages back here that I can do something with. And my current one, I showed you, I just have the Tombow swatches, fountain pen test, and then I didn't use these in any kind of way at all. So I'll do something similar for this year. All right, so now that I have what I like to think of as my little roadmap and I have everything flagged for where they're going to go, now I'm going to work on putting all the designs together, like the calendars and the holiday lists and all that other stuff, printing them out onto Tomoe River paper, the same paper used here, so that when I do glue it in, it doesn't create a heavy page, or it's not too heavy or too weighty for this. Like this is 2 pieces of Tomoe River paper glued together, and it's not too bad. It didn't like bulk up the book too much or anything either. So I'm gonna do that, print out all of those things, and then I'll join you back here to start putting it together. Like I said, this is going to be in a few pieces and parts. So thank you for joining me on this journey. I'll go get started on that now. I am back, and we have a bit of a change of scenery. It's actually the next week. So since I plotted out the pages and where I want everything to go, also my audio may be a little different, but disregard any of that. I am back, And so I've already plotted out with you where everything is going to go. So I put together a few things using Canva. Yes, I believe I only used Canva and got all of that together. So I have the year on 2 pages. That was my plan for this spread here. So I'm going to go through with you and I'll be gluing all of those down. And I don't do anything super involved, complicated, or sophisticated. I am just going to glue these in here the best way I can for this purpose. So I'll be using this Tombow adhesive, permanent adhesive, and I'm just going to use this as my background so that I don't get this adhesive on like anything I don't want to get it on. And hopefully not mess up any of these pages. So these are all the things that I said I would include. This one is the year on 2 pages, and I printed it on white Tomoe River paper so that it stays light and not too heavy, so that when I double up on some of these pages, it doesn't create too much excess bulk within the planner. So, and I'm not really a perfectionist when it comes to this. I thought I did it crooked. I'm not really a perfectionist when it comes to this. It's pretty much just getting it down and getting it in place. So that's that one. And I'm going to go through and put in the other half of 2023. So we've got 6 months on each page. And then the important dates for 2023, and this is a freebie from the planner spot. And then I created this 2024 calendar where I can write down a few items if I have that are coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll speed you through that. Alright, so I'll zoom you in just a little bit. And here you can see I have the 2023 calendar, the year on 2 pages. And then that freebie from the planner spot, which has the important dates and holidays for 2023 on the left, as well as a year on 1 page for 2024 over on the right. So these will be pages that I will reference all the time. I may put a little bit of tape here. I actually probably will, like a piece of clear Scotch tape to seal that down so it doesn't bug me whenever I flip the pages. And I'll probably do that here. I'm actually going to do that now. And this is just a thin piece of, or a thin roll of Scotch tape. I don't even think it's Scotch brands, but clear tape. And it's a little thinner in width than a typical piece of paper. I mean, oh gosh, than a typical piece of tape or roll of tape. But I do like it because it stays fairly transparent and it's easy to use for tipping in, and it's matte so it doesn't like shine or anything. So I do like using it when I'm tipping things into my planner. I'll do that one and this one. And already you can see where this piece of paper is lifting up or folding when I turn the page, because I probably didn't put this in super straight. I'm sure I didn't. So this tape here is just going to help seal that down. I'll cut this edge. Alright. Okay, so that is perfect. So what else did I have on my plan? All right, so after this, I wanted to put in my planning routines printout, and this is one that I have in my companion planner. I do have a video about my companion planner setup, so you can go check that out, but I made it in Canva originally, and so all I did this time was to resize it to make sure that I could fit it in a standard size page. And on the right hand side, I actually did I took a freebie from Sweet Caress Designs, and I've had this one for years, but it is a Getting Things Done weekly review. So I sized that down so that it can fit inside of my planner as well. I pretty much just needed something to fill on this right side of the page, and I thought that would be a good idea. That's going to go on this spread here. And then the next one I have, I need to do a vision board. So these are ones that I made in Canva. I think I'm going to go with this top one, and this is just using images from Pinterest, and I'm going to cut this down using my paper trimmer and then glue it in the same exact way you saw me do just now when I glued in the calendars. However, I'm going to take you over to my computer and I'm going to show you how I put all of these together in Canva, including this one, so that you can get a better idea of how I size them to make sure that they would more or less fit inside of my book. I did the same thing in my B6 Common Planner, and I had a video about how I'm going to be using that as a business planner, and I did have a request to show how I came up with, or how I made those mood/vision boards and how I put them into my planner. So I'm going to show you all how to do that right now. We are now in Canva, and I'll note that I do have the free version of Canva, so this is not the premium version or anything. So I go up to create a design, and I think this is key. I like to set a custom size. So I know that my traveler's notebook is 4.25 by 8.5 in terms of the sizing, so I want it to cover a full 2-page spread. So in that case, I'll use a width. By doubling the 4.25, I'll use a width of 8.5 and then a height of 8.25. I stand corrected. The height of a TN standard size traveler's notebook is 8.25 inches tall. So now we have that custom size here, and this is my document. So another important tip is to make sure you are showing the guides and rulers. So when you're on the screen to set up your design, you want to go up to File over on the left hand side, and from there you'll choose the option to show guides and rulers. Click on that, and then once you can see the rulers up at the top and over on the left, this is exactly what you want it to look like. So from here, I like to add a guide directly in the center of the page so that I know where I'm going to be cutting. So I don't want anything important to overlap that middle line. So you're just going to move your cursor over to the ruler, and then once it shows that like double-sided arrow, you'll click and drag, and it'll drag the guide down the page to wherever you place it. And if you notice, once you get to the direct center of the page, the guide turns pink. So that's how you know it's directly in the middle. So you don't have to do a ton of math yourself to figure out what the exact center would be. Once I have those guides placed, I've already copied and pasted my images from Pinterest over into Canva. So it's pretty simple now to just go over to all of my uploads and drag them over. This first example is how I did the planning routines and the weekly review spread. So I copied those images over onto the design, or the custom design page that I'm creating. And then I wanted to jazz up the weekly review side, so I went and got, or searched for, the outline of a flower. Some kind of line art is what I was looking for. So I copied that onto the page. And of course I wanted that to be behind my weekly review graphic. I don't want it to cover it. I wanted it to be in the background. So that's when I go up to position over on the top right hand side, and I send it backwards. So now it's behind the weekly review image that I have there. Next, on the left hand side, since I already created this planning routines document for my companion planner, I just went ahead, copied it from that and pasted it over into here. But because my companion planner is a personal wide size, it doesn't quite line up. So I needed to resize the whole thing. So I selected all of those elements, the designs and the text and everything, and then resized the entire thing so that it fills the whole page of the standard TN. Once that was done, I used that same trick where Canva gives you, some colors that are already in your design, and I went over and I changed the circles to match those colors a lot better. And then just so that I don't have to redo all the custom sizes or anything again, I just added a new page, and it automatically adds it in the same exact page as same exact size and dimensions as the first one, and it also copies down that guide that I placed right in the center of the page. So here I'm doing the vision board or the mood board, and I pasted the images from Pinterest right into there. And I lined it up along that center line because I know that's where I'll be cutting the sheet of paper in half. So again, I don't want to have anything important overlapping that line because I know I'm going to cut right through it. So these were two mood boards already put together that I found on Pinterest. They just went well with the color schemes that I was going for, this kind of neutral look. But the one on the right hand side had more of the navy, so I want that to stand out a lot more. So what I'm doing is changing the position of that as well. So I'll click on it, and then up at the top right, click on forward to bring that forward so that it overlaps on top of the image on the left. And once that's done, you can't really tell. It does cut off a little bit of that saying down at the bottom, but I'm perfectly okay with that. And then this is an example of how I would use individual images that I copy from Pinterest. So I just copy them onto the Canva design and then resize them and kind of just plug them in as like a puzzle piece. So since I know again that I'll be cutting down the center of the page, I want to make sure that it's not overlapping that line, or at least nothing important is overlapping that line. And as I'm arranging all of the images that I've copied from Pinterest, I'm arranging them to give like a border between all of them to kind of make it seem like this was all purposeful, of course. And I'm trying to make sure that the borders around the pictures are fairly equal. I'm not measuring anything, but just so that it looks like I did all of this on purpose. Leaving a little bit of a border along that center line where I'll be cutting. So I moved all of the images into the design and then kind of shuffled them around to see where I would like to have them placed or where I would prefer to have them go. Again, this is the one that I did for my B6 size planner, so I'm just giving you an example of how I had done that, but I'm still using the standard size design that I have here. But the process was exactly the same. I just made sure that my page size was a B6 size instead of the standard TN size. So once you have everything placed exactly where you want it to go, then you're going to go up to the upper right hand side of Canva and click on that share button. And from there is where you would go further to click on the download button. Canva gives you the option to download either all of the pages or just individually, so you can download them any way you want. But they also will provide an option to download them in different file types. So if I'm copying something that's a lot of writing, sometimes I'll choose to use PDF. But if it's something that is just a lot of pictures or graphics, I might use PNG. And another important tip to remember, after you've downloaded the design to your desktop or laptop or whatever, when you go into your downloads folder and open it up in order to print it, you always want to make sure that the scale is set to 100. Sometimes your printer might resize it for you. It might adjust it because it wants to create a border around the image, or it can do whatever the heck it wants. But you want to make sure that the scale is always set to 100 so that it prints exactly in the dimensions that you set your Canva design to be. And I'm back. So I cut down all of those pages that you saw me create on Canva, and I have put them into the book the same way you saw me do the calendars. So I used the Tombow permanent adhesive roller and put them in there, and then I finished it off down the middle with the clear or the transparent tape. So I did that for my planning routines and for my weekly review, or that weekly review GTD freebie that was from Sweet Caress Designs. I'm not sure if this is still available. Like I said, I got it a few years ago. It might have been 2019, maybe 2020, but if it is, I will try and link it down below. My dog is barking. Hopefully you cannot hear him. So this one is the mood board that I'm using for 2023. So I really wanted something that was mostly neutrals, something that had a little bit of some kind of navy blue in it as well. I feel like I need to adjust the lighting just a bit because now it's a little bit gloomy outside. So I wanted something that incorporated neutrals, something that had a little bit of navy blue, because there is going to be some navy in my system, like when I set up all the fronts and everything that you will see when 2023 begins. So this is the mood board that I'm starting out with. The others that I created, I do have them here, and I did cut them down to size so that when I'm ready to put them in, they'll just be ready to go. I'm not sure how I'm going to use these just yet, but I am going to keep them on hand until I decide where to place them. So right after this is where I get into the monthly for January 2023. So it hops right into the planner. And then this next part that I have tabbed is the week of December 26, 2022 through January 1st, 2023. So I am a one planner per year kind of girl in terms of what I'm tracking. So from the beginning of 2022 to the very end of 2022 is all going to be in one book. Therefore, I'm sure I won't use this weekly layout. So this is actually a place where I could possibly add in like maybe this mood board if I wanted to inject a little bit more color or something. I haven't decided. Also, maybe there's going to be some spread that or collection that I might want to place here before I get into my weeklies. I'm not entirely certain just yet, so I'm not going to put anything there. I am going to keep it tabbed so that I can remember to come back to it. And then once I do a full view, I'll give you like a full peek of everything and how it's set up right before the year begins. I'll show you what I decided to do there. And then this next page is where I would start my index. So my current index, I'll let you see what that looks like, which I don't have tabbed for whatever reason. So clearly it's hard for me to get to it. Is here, and I don't index a whole lot of stuff, but I just added a little bit of deco to the top and bottom corners, and I'll do the same thing for this spread here. I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to add some stickers or some deco to make it look nice and pretty, and maybe a bit of hand lettering that I'll put there. Yep, maybe a bit of hand lettering. So let's do that right now. I pulled out a few washes and looked through my stickers and decided that I want to use these really pretty sterling ink stickers. I believe they were definitely part of this subscription and might have been some kind of like anniversary freebie. I'm not exactly sure, I don't recall, but I want to use these stickers here because they are absolutely beautiful. So I think I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, like decorate the top left and the bottom right that I did for last year's index. And I want to put some washi down first. And looking at these page flags that I used made me want to incorporate something along that line or that color. So I pulled out this grid washi, and that's what I'm going to use. And I wanted something neutral as well, so I think I'm going to do this one. This one's from the Planner Spot. This one is from Amazon. I do, however, like the greens in these stickers, so I'm thinking I may do a light green. These two are the closest ones I have, but I'm not completely sold. I almost feel like this one is too bluish, and this one just not loving. Not necessarily in conjunction with that, but maybe. So I'm gonna just start by putting down some of the washi. And if you've seen any of my other Plan With Me videos, you know that I don't go for perfection. So this doesn't need to be perfect or completely straight in any kind of way. I'm just sticking stuff down. So since I'm not 100% sold on this green, I do actually think it'll work well now that I have it down, but I don't want a ton of color on this page. So what I'm going to try to do is cover up a little bit of that green washi. I just want it, even though it's a thin washi, I just want it to be an accent. I don't want it to stand out too much. So I think I'll overlap it a bit, and then I'm gonna do, this is the sticker I'm gonna put in this corner, and I'm okay with it being so large because, like I showed you on the index for this year, I didn't have a whole lot to index, and worst case I could just do 2 columns if I needed to, or the last index that I did for last year, it's actually I skipped lines, so I have more than enough room. So I'm gonna do that there, and I think I want to do this someplace as well, but I'm not sure. So let's just go for it. No, I don't really love that. I'm gonna do it there. Nope, don't really love that. So this is the risk that we run with just putting washi down anywhere without giving it a ton of forethought. And it's because this washi is like so close to the color of the page, it doesn't really stand out a whole lot. So let's hope that the sticker gives it the oomph that I'm looking for. So this is really cool. I haven't used any of these yet that are on this clear or transparent backing. They're not like a washi sticker, so they're not thin like washi. They are pretty thick, and these are some intricate designs, so I want to be careful with how I even lay these down. And I don't have the best luck laying down stickers like this. I feel like I always get them, they always go on crooked, or I get a wrinkle somewhere. Like I just ripped that part of the sticker because my name is Kim. That's just what I do. That's just how I roll. So I am going to put that piece of the sticker on the page. I just have to remember where it goes. Why is it so difficult for me? I don't know. But you are witnessing. I think that's crooked. And I'm sure, well, let's see. I'm sure this would have gone a lot better if I used tweezers. I always say that. And I have tweezers. Just never use them. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So that's down, and then I'm going to put this other part of the sticker that broke off down as well. And attempt to line it up. Okay. Pretty good. I did want it to be more or closer to the right side of the page, but maybe that's where I'll just insert another little flourish of some sort. I feel like using birds this large might be odd in comparison to the smaller birds there. Maybe I'll do a butterfly. I think I will do a butterfly. And this greenish butterfly kind of helps to bring in the greenish colors of the washi that I use there. So do I want it to face that way, or do I want it to face that way? I kind of want it to go that way. Alright, so I really do like that. And in the top left corner, I'm going to do, since I really am feeling the greens here, I am going to use that one. And I'm thinking I will layer it with something else. Do I want to put more washi up there? Probably not, but I do wish that I had a larger sticker to put there. I have these watercolor stickers. I'm not loving them with what's going on here. Definitely not these grayish ones. Like, I'm thinking if I layered this on top of that and then had a label that says index somewhere, I might not hate that so much. I think I'm going to do that one. I'll layer it underneath this one like that, and then have an index label right there. That's exactly it. And let's hope I can line this up the way that I just had it positioned. Maybe I can. Should I turn that this way? No, I like it this way actually. Looks a bit more abstract if it's not circling that watercolor sticker so perfectly. So let's do that. Okay, I'm feeling it. And I do feel like this color, the color of these watercolors, does go with this beige kind of washi there. I'm thinking, oh wait, where is it? Okay, so on this little one, we have some tiny butterflies. So let's do tiny butterflies here and there. There, over there. Let's go there. And I'm satisfied. So I'm really liking that. So this will be my index page for 2023. And I'll have to come back to put a little label there. So I'm going to leave this page flag here. These are from Muji, these craft page flags, if anyone cares to know. Okay, so that's the weekly I don't know what to do with. And then this is the index page. I'm really digging it. I think it's very pretty for this coming year. So now what I'm going to do is in the back, I typically use the back notes pages for swatches, and it's usually my Tombow markers that I like to swatch, because when I'm deciding which one I'm going to use for like if I'm setting up a monthly, this is where I would refer back to, I would reference back to. So I'm going to use this digital paper that I got from Sweet Freckles Design. It's really cute. It's little Tombow markers. So I'm going to use that and tip this right in there. And I'll show you how I tip in a piece of vellum into my planner. So another question I did receive in that previous video was not only how do you create those mood/vision boards in Canva, but also how do you tip in. So it's very simple. I am not an expert. This is how I do it, and I'm pretty sure this is probably not even, I'm definitely sure this is not the best way to do it, but this is how I do it. And I don't struggle to make it perfectly even or perfectly straight. I just kind of stick it in there and hope that it works out. Alright, so I stuck it down onto something that the tape won't rip. So I have it on this plastic backing for that reason. And a lot of times I will crease here where the paper meets the tape, so that once I take it off, it has that line. So if you look closely, this part here of the tape that's not adhered to anything is what is going to be like in between these two pages. So I'm not even sure if that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna bring you in closer. And hopefully I can sort of show you. So this is the crease between the two pages. I feel like I need something to weigh this down. It's not quite heavy enough. We'll use that. And then this is my sheet that I put the transparent tape on. And I will say that this is actually easier if you use washi tape because it's not so adhesive. So you can kind of reposition washi tape, which I can't quite do with this transparent tape that I have because it's pretty strong. And if I try to pull it up on the Tomo River paper, sometimes it can rip. So what I'm trying to do, and this is at an awkward angle, but I'm trying to get the folded edge right in there in the middle. Like I said, I'm doing this at an angle, so I can't even see exactly how I'm doing it. So we put that right there in the middle and then press it down to sort of seal the seam. And then fold it over and press down again. And there you have it. That wasn't too bad. So it is in there, and we have successfully tipped in a piece of vellum. So it just turns like any other sheet of paper inside the book. And right back here is where I'm going to do the swatches for all of my Tombos. Sometimes I will do fountain pen inks if I just want to see how an ink writes on this paper in relation to another ink. I might do that, but I do have a completely separate fountain pen journal that I use for that purpose. So that's that. And then I do have this other digital paper from Sweet Freckles Designs that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I have that inside of my my Bible study journal, so I wasn't sure where I wanted to put this. I just had it left over and I just cut it down to this size. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to use that just yet. So this one, along with the additional mood boards that I have that I printed out and cut down to size, I'm just going to keep these right inside of here to hold on to them in case I want to use them throughout the year or when I do my final setup for 2023. Alright, and to just, we'll walk you through one more time. So this is the opening layout where I would normally do a decorative vellum, because this is going to be tucked into my cover. So you won't even see this part, and then a decorative vellum that kind of coordinates with whatever I have in the pockets inside of my cover. So that's what's going to be here. And usually some clips, maybe like a mini calendar. That's what normally goes there. Oh, and this, which I didn't mention, I normally do clip these two together. So this is that beginning page that's glued to the first page. You can't really use it. So I normally do clip these together so that when I turn the page, it just goes right here to the yearly calendar. Then we have the important dates, and I already have a little crease there, but that's okay. Important dates and holidays for 2023 and the 2024 calendar. And then the planning routines that I have over on the left, along with the GTD weekly review freebie over on the right. And then my vision board for 2023. And then along with the index that I have for my notes pages. So I'll come back and add that label there. And then my Tombow swatch page. So that pretty much sums up my whole setup for my 2023 book, my standard size Hobonichi Cousin. So I do hope that this video was helpful, and when I'm going to do a January plan with me, so then I'll kind of walk you back through and show you all of the finalized everything before we get into the full plan with me for January. So if you want to make sure to catch that, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. And if you have any questions about anything I've shown, feel free to leave them down below, and anything I mentioned I'll try to link in the description box as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.